Debris from downed Russian drones struck civilian targets early on Saturday in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, injuring 3 people and sparking a fire in an office building, the regional governor said. Ola Synhubov, writing on the Telegram messaging app, said a 13-year-old child and a woman were being treated in hospital. A second woman was treated at the site. Emergency services were bringing the fire under control, he added. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said on Friday that Russian troops had captured 547 square kilometers of territory in Ukraine this year. Shoigu said Ukrainian forces were retreating all along the front line. The Russian Defense Ministry said on Friday that its air defense forces destroyed 6 drones that Ukraine launched overnight. 5 of the drones were downed over the Belgorod region that borders Ukraine and 1 over the Crimean Peninsula, the Defense Ministry said on the Telegram messaging app. Ukraine's president and foreign minister has pressed British Foreign Secretary David Cameron to accelerate the delivery of promised military aid to Kiev, as Russia heaps battlefield pressure on depleted Ukrainian forces in the 3rd year of war. It is important that the weapons included in the UK support package announced last week arrive as soon as possible, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on the social platform X, as Cameron visited Kyiv on Thursday. The Lithuanian government has said there have been false Russian claims of sabotage planned by a person who allegedly entered Russia from Lithuania in March. Vilmantas Vitkauskas, head of the National Crisis Management Center, said Russian claims that a saboteur had any links to Lithuania were false. He said he did not have any information about the incident reported by Interfax, but this element of linking that to a NATO state was disinformation. Any Western-backed Ukrainian strike against the Crimean Bridge or Crimea itself will be met with a powerful revenge strike from Russia, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova said. I would like to warn Washington and Brussels that any aggressive actions against Crimea are not only doomed to fail, but will also be met with a devastating revenge strike, Zakharova said. A Russian activist has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for attempting to set fire to a military conscription office in protest against the Russian action in Ukraine, officials said Friday. A military court in Khabarovsk, in Russia's Far East, said Angel Nikolaev was convicted on charges of terrorism for placing 2 bottles containing a flammable substance in the windows of a district conscription office in the city and setting them ablaze. The U.S. has been preparing since 2022 for the possibility that Russian President Vladimir Putin would stop selling it nuclear power fuel, and a pending ban on Russian imports will help boost domestic capacity to process uranium fuel, the outgoing top nuclear energy official told Reuters. The U.S. Senate passed legislation on Tuesday that bans the imports from Russia, the latest move by Washington to disrupt Putin's ability to pay for the full-scale invasion of Ukraine that began in 2022. The Czech Republic's institutions have been targeted by a Russian cyber attack since last year, the Czech Foreign Ministry said on Friday. It said the Russian APT-28 group, believed to be connected to Russia's GRU military intelligence, had exploited a vulnerability in Microsoft's Outlook program. The ministry issued its statement after Germany's Interior Ministry said on Friday a series of cyber attacks attributable to the GRU targeted Germany's governing Social Democrats as well as the country's logistics, defense, aerospace, and IT sectors. Germany has said it has evidence that Russian state-sponsored hackers were behind an intolerable cyber attack last year in which several websites were knocked offline in apparent response to Berlin's decision to send tanks to Ukraine. The German Foreign Minister, Annalena Baerbock, said a federal government investigation into the 2023 cyber attack on the Social Democrat Party, SPD, had just concluded. Ukraine will at some point have to enter into talks with Russia to bring an end to their more than 2-year-old war, a senior Ukrainian intelligence official said in an interview published on Thursday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly ruled out talks with the Kremlin, and a decree he issued after Russia formally annexed 4 Ukrainian regions in 2022 deems negotiations impossible. The U.S. Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, has confirmed Russian security forces have been deployed to the same airbase as American troops in the Nigerian capital, Niamey. It remains unclear when the Russian troops, who have been in Niger for weeks, were deployed to Airbase 101, which is next to Diori Hamani International Airport in Niamey. It is also unclear how many troops are on the ground.